Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Corporate Commander TFW. Now I'm joined by one of the Mackinac Legions himself. It's Mikey G. Wolf E3. Hello, Mikey.
You're either watching Wing or you've bought a new Wing thing.
Correct.
That doesn't narrow it down.
It doesn't do anything, does it? It's a statement, though.
Hello, I'm Mikey, and I am done with nostalgia.
Oh, yeah, I saw you mention that on Twitter. Was it today or yesterday or something?
Last few days, because every review of Kingdom I saw was like, well, a lot of Easter, like all the professional reviews. I didn't look too much into the fan reviews, but or the fan pod, like the ones you got early access. And it was all like, really hits your nostalgia button, full of Easter eggs for the long-term fans. Do you remember G1 or Beast Wars? And I'm just like, none of this matters to me. I don't care.
Isn't this what they said about the previous two seasons as well?
All I want is a good story with good characters. That's all I care about. I don't care if it's like the old show. I don't care if it's not like the old show. I don't care if Optimus has a tail.
I'd be confused if he did. Especially, actually, you would be annoyed if Primal had a tail and was still a gorilla. You would be annoyed. Don't fucking lie. You'd be so fucking pissed about that. You'd be like, that's not what gorillas have. Gorillas don't have tails.
Also, I have to admit something horrible and depressing.
Oh, no.
I was thinking today, if Flametoys did the Optimus as a kit.
Which Optimus?
Primal that's coming out.
Ah, okay, yeah.
They had done that as a kit, I'd probably have tried to customize it into Canada. At least paint it.
Oh no.
Like I said, I need new ideas, and that was just the one that popped into my head, and I was just like, oh, a lost cause.
I mean, don't you think you could like redo the Windblade into any of the VTubers?
I mean, you probably could. I just don't know who'd fit that personality, really.
Kiara, that would work quite well. Her color scheme would work quite nicely on that. Just do Miko, because you do like your Miko.
Yeah, I need a face that's screaming. She doesn't have an arm. Like, what you do for Miko, you get an Aqua Figma and redo her into Miko, because that can.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's acceptable. That's acceptable. But Mikey, we're here this week as usual to talk about Transformers, the things that transform. We haven't got to see. Yeah, they do convert. We haven't got to see the Netflix show yet because it's coming out on the 29th. Is that right?
Friday, whatever Friday is, I believe. So yeah, Thursday. It's coming out the 29th. Yeah, so it's Thursday.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I was right. Yay. Okay, cool. So I don't think I'll be able to get to see it until that weekend. So maybe by next week, we'll be able to give our thoughts on it, and then we can obviously between me and Mikey decide if it's worthy of doing its own show or if it's just we can just tidy it up on the show and then hopefully never have to look back at it ever again.
If it's good enough for its own show, that'll be fine. If not, it'll probably be like the opening segment of an episode.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah. But Mikey, we have things to talk about this week. We're going to talk about what's that?
Quite a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, not bad. A bad chunk. Mostly third party and bits from Japan. But hey, we're going to kick off with Magic Square once again. They're showing off the Legend Scale G1 Jazz prototype. It's in grayscale. It is what you would expect from the small boy from Magic Square. He's going for the cartoon style. At least there are two different configurations. So you can have the cartoon style, which is no door wings. And the toy style, which has the door wings and has the cannon. So what becomes, I guess, now a feature of all third-party jazzes is you could choose. You want him toy or do you want him cartoon? And he can obviously turn into his little car mode where he goes brum, brum, brum. There is speakers as well that you can attach to his doors and the little speakers on the side of his skirts as well. And also what looks like a destroyed Optimus Prime in the background, a Mirage in the background, and another Jazz in the background over the top.
Yes, there's been much murdering going on.
Yeah, I don't know why, but there's also a horrific amount of plants in this office where this person's working, and I don't know whether these are plants or just weed. Who knows? I'm not a weed expert. I'm not a weedian.
And a thermos.
Oh yeah, yes, from Star Books, so that's fair. Mikey, how do you think Legends Jazz looks?
I like him, to be honest. I always prefer Jazz with wings, so it's nice to have it.
I always prefer him without. I like the cartoon look. Makes it easier
Uh,
for him to go through doors as well.
well, they move, Andy. Duh. Or just sideways like a normal person. But yeah, he looks like he's very posable. Looks like he's got good proportions. I like the accessory count. Like he's got a good few guns. He's got like the speakers, and he's got some waist weapons as well.
Mhm.
As long as the transformation stands up, I think he's looking pretty solid. What are your thoughts?
Magic Square usually do a pretty solid job on these. As usual, it is just G1 Jazz, and there do seem to be a lot of G1 Jazzes that have been coming out recently or at the
Jazz
moment.
eye,
So
if you will.
Jazz-Eye, yeah, I like that. Jazz-Eye Santies. Um, there's a reference. He's all right. It's another one, and if you'd like your Magic Square, you can probably be rest assured on the quality at the very least. So I'll give it a big old tick. I think it can probably be assumed probably going to get a Ricochet repaint,
I would be
possibly.
surprised, and I hope so, because I ultimately like how Ricochet looks more, if I'm honest. But
He's better than G2 Jazz, which is just Jazz but with some different stickers on.
G2 Jazz is a crime. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean it's the same as Inferno, G2 Inferno, which is just Inferno but with a pushy button gun.
The
Like
thing is, like, people care about Jazz. No one cares about Inferno.
No, that's not true. Red
The-
Alert cares about him.
No, Red Alert is codependent on him. They're the difference.
Yeah, potato, potato.
Red Alert needs him. They're the difference.
But yeah, that's all I've got there, Mikey. Do you want to tell me about more trains, more of them?
Yeah, so Moon Studio, they're working on a masterpiece scaled Raiden, which we'll see if it gets cancelled in the next year or so.
Oh, yeah.
But they have revealed new images of MS-03 Iron Arm and MS-04 Moonshine, which
Yeah,
are
we talked
showcased
about 1 and 2 a few weeks, months ago, something like
about a
that.
month or so, I think.
Hmm.
That was Dark Knight and Iceland.
Did you remember that, or is that in the story?
It's in the story.
Okay, I was gonna say.
So this is G1 Shoki and G1 Kain. We also get to see the torso for Radiatron, which is of course Raiden himself. So looking at the core robots, what if Galvatron was a train?
I guess. Well, at least he's got a Galvatron gun. That's for sure.
And the guy who gets referenced in other toys.
Who's that one? That you mean?
Shoki, I know, has had a few references in other toys, but I think they look decent. I don't like the face sculpts.
What about them do you not like? Is it that they have no expression?
Vapid would be the term I'd use. But also, like, it might look better painted, but they just don't look very good sculpts. I'm honest. A lot of detail on both of them, but they look like they're put together very well. Fun looking alt modes. I like the cargo train one.
Yeah.
Although I will say he suffers for the transformation because his sides look garbage.
Yeah. There's some issues with it. I will agree.
Yeah.
But again, maybe it will look a little less egregious painted. Hopefully.
And yeah, then we see Raiden, and it's like no arms, but we see upper body. It looks like they're going for sort of like animation model accurate approach. They're not really going stylized on this. Also, I don't know if that chest is a separate piece or if they've integrated it into the transformation.
I would guess a separate piece.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, like again, colors are going to be really dependent on this and how he looks, but he looks like he's coming together fairly well. I'm not in love with that peg for the shoulder joint attachment.
What about it do you not like?
It's because I'm trying to make the image bigger. Hang on. There we go.
Does it remind you maybe a little bit too much of the Energon combiner limbs?
Yeah.
Or connection points, I should say.
And the fact, like, it looks like there's not a lot of support around that area.
That's fair. Yeah, I can see that.
I would be a little bit concerned about connectivity, and also like those kind of pegs, like I think Combiner Wars kind of hit the absolute like this is how you do a joint add-on for these kind of things.
Oh, the giant square chunk.
Yeah, something really solid. This is going to
Yes.
have an entire robot on there, like masterpiece scaled.
Yeah, that's
Like,
a good point.
these attachments, in my experience, tend to be weaker ones. Like maybe they've made it nice and tight, but I'm just saying, like, it would make me a little nervous.
I can see that. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on them, Andy?
I suppose, like, especially with the knowledge that, well, let's still go with theoretically, because we still haven't heard anything about it. Theoretically, we are meant to begin a new Raiden officially.
Yeah.
I don't think this personally does anything stand out to make this like potentially better than an official release. It'll obviously be hard to tell until we see an official one. Maybe that one will have less intricate transformation, or it'll have some other downsides. But at the moment, visually, this looks kind of just like a standard Masterpiece release. It doesn't look like it's doing anything crazy or over the top so far. And like you said, the connectors for the arms look a little bit on the small side, I think it's fair to say, at the very least. It's small. They won't be translucent like the Energon ones, one would hope, because hopefully people have learned from the mistakes to not use connection points for entire robots as translucent plastic.
Yeah.
One would hope. I agree, though, the train modes look quite nice. They look fancy. I think Shoki, whichever one it was, the main guy who's called Grimlock as well. The bad dub. His train mode suffers as well. I think maybe a little less than the cargo one in some ways, mainly because he's got a lot of gaps and flaps around that bullet train, and I think he's meant to be white. So I think potentially those gaps, unless they're cleaned up from this prototype to the official product, he might still look a bit gappy. But I guess that'll be more of a thing to judge once it actually comes out and there's a real version rather than a prototype, which most people are aware, hopefully, or still remember that prototypes are chintzy, shall we say, and you sneeze on them and they can explode, because that's the way that they are mocked.
Absolutely.
And we don't get wooden ones anymore, like all G1 toys, which is a shame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a wooden Galvatron, if you remember all those.
I
years
remember.
ago,
I'm just trying to say, like, shame.
I imagine they're a little bit less. I'll explode into dust than ones that are made of dust.
Yes, there is that. They would also, give you splinters, but.
Well, no, you polish them and smooth those boys out, baby. So smooth you can lick them.
Don't lick wood, Andy.
No, you can't tell me what to do.
I can't. I just did.
Didn't mean I listen. Shall I move on, Mr. Mikey?
Yes.
Do you want me to tell you about Dreamstar, Mikey, a third-party company who I've never heard of before?
I have never heard of these people before.
I thought you might have, but it seems like that is not the case. So Dreamstar Toys have updated via their Weibo account, that place. Weibo, with the DST 01-001 Slingshot. I was hoping it was... Oh, no, it's Sling Shoot. Not shot, shoot. Sling Shoot.
Right.
Who is, of course, Aerial Bot Slingshot. Very, very clever.
Sling Shoot.
Yes. They added an extra O, so it's a different character, Mikey. Come on, get on board. You on board? You on the train?
I think I might be standing in front of the train, but...
Well, we all make good choices. This is a highly stylized take on Slingshot, so that's a plus in its favor, with a different sculpt choice compared to the cartoon accuracy of the recent figure trends. This is what the article says, and I would agree. A lot of the aerial bots we've had, or just third-party toys in general, has been heavily stylized for G1, so this is something a little bit different. Information is this is going to be 22 centimeters tall. I don't know what that... I imagine that's Voyager scale. Is that right? I don't have a measurement thingy on me.
It's called a ruler. And I don't have one hand yet.
I said that.
I don't have a measurement stick.
No, I don't.
I don't have a tool of elongation.
No. Well, back in the day, they just pulled twigs off the trees, and that was good enough. That's in robot mode, 22 centimeters. It will have die cast. It won't need any extra parts to form the arm, so it claims. And this figure is obviously part of Dreamstar Toys Encourager, which is Superior. The encourager. You could do it, Mikey. I believe in you.
Like, very different from Superion. Superion standing there like, I'm better than you in every conceivable way. Encourager, you can do it!
You got it, champ. I believe. And it's just you picking up rocks in the gun. I believe. Shut up. Help me.
You can do it!
No, help me, please. I'm so hot.
Superion
Help
telling
me.
it. And again, Superion saying he could pick up the rocks better, but he won't.
Why is nobody helping me? Said Mikey.
They fell on me! I won't have anyone help me!
You can get out of this. I believe in you. I could have gotten out of this faster than you, Mikey. Help.
My knees!
As your knees have come through your skin. Oh dear. Apparently, they've already shown this in a grey prototype, which I don't remember personally. But
I would fucking remember this guy.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. We'll talk about Sling Shoot first because this is coloured. What do you think of Sling Shoot? He obviously is a robot who turns into a plane. Do you think he's as boring as most Superions? Not Superions, as most aerial bots are?
No, definitely not standard aerial bot look.
No?
If it wasn't for the alt mode, you wouldn't convince me this was supposed to be Slingshot.
Is that a plus or a minus, would you say?
I mean, it's interesting. But it is interesting. Like, looks kind of like anime meets movie, in all honesty.
Yes, he's got a lot of greebly detail parts, but not. I wouldn't say too much. It's not like
No.
it's edging there. I think it's almost on the tip.
The legs,
what I would like.
think, are kind of the biggest culprits.
Yes.
And I would say any problems this design seems to have are in the legs because, like, I think the proportions of the legs, they're trying for a super robot. I've got very long legs for my body. And because of the legs are, I think, too long. And the lower chunk, like the really chunky toes and the really chunky calves, really clash with the much more standard thighs.
Yeah, the thighs are very thin. The guy has not done leg day. He's done calf day and shin day, but not the thighs, unfortunately.
I like the upper robot, the upper body.
Yeah.
I think that's come together really nicely. It's got good proportions. It looks very posable. I like the aesthetic and the detail and whatnot. Like, interesting face sculpt. Again, not very slingshotty. Like, I'm not looking at this guy thinking slingshot.
Was Slingshot the one with the orange face?
I believe so. Yeah, he was the one who hated everyone.
Yeah, this one doesn't have that, which is again interesting.
A bit more like of an Alex Milne face, to be completely honest. But like a helmet. But the alt mode is interesting as well. Like, it's surprisingly clean.
Yeah, I would say if people aren't aware, this is we're not jet experts, but to me this reminds me of plane, jet plane, same thing. This is this feels to me like the plane jet from True Lies. You know, that Arnie flies right at the end with Elisha Dushkush. Jumping on the top. I don't think it is that plane, but it has that look to it.
Yeah. But no, this is interesting. I think this is quite cool.
It is.
I would like to see the rest of them and see if they're in the same kind of styling.
Well, have you looked at the other ones that there is a link to?
Oh, no, I didn't know there was.
I'll send you the link then, because when it was like, oh, hey, we talked about the Superion. Well, apparently we didn't. At least I don't think we did.
No,
we've
never talked about this. I would remember this.
Oh, no, you wouldn't. It was 2020. It was September 2020.
Even
so maybe
then,
we
this
did.
is very, very distinct.
I don't think we did.
I would remember this look. Believe me. I can't tell you the 15 different Superions that have been done, but I would remember this.
Yeah, they haven't shown all of them. It looks like Silverbolt's there, and do we have a robot mode for any of the other ones? No, that's it. We've seen Silverbolt. Yeah. Oh no, there's one other one. Sling Shoot, yeah, and then there's one other one, but I don't know who it is. I think it's the one that had the black jet mode and the white robot mode. Whoever that is.
I want to say his name's Air Raid.
Good enough for me.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this guy.
Yeah, what do you think of Superion? As we see him standing next to a water bottle. One leg is the size of a standard water bottle, I suppose.
I would say he looks like he's been designed by Flametoys.
I definitely feel that this combined mode for Superion is dipping for me more into the it's too much greebly detail.
It kind of in some ways it reminds me of the actual, like, a more detailed version of the Bruticus model from Fall of Cybertron.
Yes, yeah, I could see that.
which had
I
problems
just
with
like
too much detail anyway.
I'd like just a bit smoothed out in places.
Mm, mm.
Obviously, I don't think they can do that just because of how it transforms and everything like that.
But
But
good
if
proportions.
yeah, the proportions are fairly decent. It looks like he's got decent posability in his hands. I like the fact he's got double cannons on each of his shoulders. That's quite nice.
That's a nice
And he's
detail.
got the nose cones coming up on either side of his head, kind of like the big guns on the top of his helmet as well, or the big pointy bits. So it's kind of symmetrical in that aspect as well. It's a pretty solid look, and it's different from a G1 Superion as well. So
A little bit of
again, it's nice.
creativity. Always
Yeah.
nice.
Yes, and as we always say, yeah, it's nice to see something different, even if it is not 100% in our preferred style. We won't talk about the individual, like Silver Ball to the Air Raid, maybe
wait until we
because
see colored versions.
yeah, exactly. Because I assume since we've seen Sling shoot, at some point we're going to see the other ones as well. I would guess so. Yeah, not for me, but much more interesting than the usual stuff we get. It almost reminds me a little bit of some of the fans project stuff we used to get back in the day, long time ago.
Yeah.
When they were doing like their more intricate designs, the less G1-y kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Before
I'd
they
agree with that.
died. Because I don't think they're around anymore, even though we've been told they are. Mikey, do you want to take us on to our next bit of news?
Yeah, Flametoys came out fucking swinging this week. They appear. Where was this?
Shanghai, was it?
Shanghai.
Con?
The Anycom and Game at Hong Kong convention.
Oh, Hong Kong.
ACGHK. So they brought out a ton of stuff as well as revealing a bunch of stuff on Twitter. So they revealed the first images of Flametoys Kurakara Rodimus. So this is their large figure line for anyone who doesn't remember.
That's not the model kits, isn't it?
No,
it's the expensive ones.
Yeah, these are like hundreds of. These are the ones that taunt me. So yeah, and the ones that you do not abbreviate the name Kurakara. Not a good idea. So this Rodimus is a weird mixture of G1 and IDW. Specifically Mord Meets the Eye. He's not the same design as the Mord Meets the Eye model kit, which is much more in line with the actual comic design. This has like the face and some proportions and stuff, and just general kind of like base outline, I'd say, of a Mord Meets the of the traditional Rodimus, but with the Mord Meets the Eye design. Biggest thing here is the very, very big back wings. I think he looks decent. He's not one I'm like flipping a table over.
No? Do you not think this is a good IDW Rodimus?
It is. I think it's a good take on IDW Rodimus, but like for the money and stuff, that's like I think they've done more exciting characters.
Okay, so it's more of a character choice more so than
and like,
anything else. Okay.
I'm not sure, like, this is one of the ones where, like, the flame toysiness, like, we're going to make the wings bigger. Like, not necessarily an aesthetic I'd go with, because it's just kind of like, I think it went a bit Studio Ox, a bit too far.
Here's a question. Do you think this serves for the big IDW Transformers fans, or do you think because of the price of the figure, it's not going to hit a massive audience because it's not G1 enough for the fans who probably want to throw down the money, or it's too much money for the people who would like a Rodimus where they could just go with the Mastermind Creation one that came out a while ago.
Yeah, it's a weird one. From what I understand, the Kurakara line sells very well in Japan.
Oh, okay.
And I think this aesthetic will work for that audience. So I think the high-end collector in Japan will definitely be into this. Worldwide, I think you're going to have the standard conflict of I want my G1, I want my IDW. And I still would just be like, I just like something new. Even though I like IDW's design. Doesn't look like it transforms into anything, but I'm always okay with that. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's probably the one they've done that I'm least interested in terms of aesthetically, or maybe the accessory count will build it up, but we don't have any information on that yet. Any other thoughts on him, Andy?
I don't think so. I mean, he looks nice. The painted detail on him's pretty solid, I would say.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Next to him, they also had Optimus Primal, who we've already seen, and they had Nemesis Prime, who we've already seen. But they revealed the prototype for 4i Action Leo Prime. This is the smaller, like 100+ action figure line that was going to be a model kit line, and then got spun off into its own thing.
Is that the one in the case with the Rodimus?
Yeah.
I thought they were the same size. I was confused.
Nope, he is smaller.
Oh, okay. It must be a perspective thing.
Yeah,
I didn't look hard enough.
So speaking of perspective, not actually the best shot they've taken of him, because he's in a pose, but because of he's got a big lion shield on the side of him, it's actually not a great photo.
Yeah, he's 90% lion shield in the photo.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
No new details except he's definitely got a cloth cape.
That's nice. I like the fact it's not a plastic cape. Plastic capes kind of poo. Paper capes very poo. Cloth capes, yeah, good.
Can be done well.
Can be, yes. Sometimes they're not.
Looks like he's wire based as well, which is good.
Yeah.
But I don't have much to add on him because I want to see better shots. Do you have any other thoughts on him, Andy?
No, it still looks fancy. Be better, like you say, nicer shots. Shame it's not a model kit because it would have been more interesting than a still expensive figure. Yeah, and more affordable too. Yeah.
Next up, I think there's a point in everyone's life when they've done many good things, and then they go that they stayed up that 1 hour too long, and they've had just too much coffee, and just too much sugar, and they just didn't stop when they were supposed to stop. And that is the Flametoys Jet Power Armor. So this is their stylized G1 Optimus Prime wearing armor based off of movie Jetfire, the Jetwing Optimus. And he's very pointy.
Very, yeah. More pointy than Genesis Gaugiger.
Yeah. Those are impressive shoulder pads. Also,
I have no idea how this guy moves.
I don't.
Does he have articulation with this on?
Like the base figure does.
Yeah, but you see all this armor on him. I'm like, I think all this stuff is gonna clash off each other, surely, or well, I don't. I wouldn't say it's gonna weigh down the joints, but it's gonna cause issues, surely.
Not.
Yeah.
I'd be this is one I would put together and never touch again because the whole thing probably costs $600.
You need to put it on a stand as well because I don't know how secure, because there's a lot of backpack. Mainly, that's my concern. There's a lot of backpack.
Many backpack.
It's a little bit much for me, to be honest.
I see the logic.
Yes.
Methinks they should have gone Godjin right.
Mikey, I had a stupid idea. And it's mainly because of the chest design.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Kill la Kill Senketsu.
Oh God, now I'm seeing it.
You see it, don't you, with the ribbon bit?
Yeah. Oh no. I was oh no, this is the final form version.
Yes,
you can work the shoulders into that as well with the because his eyes got really fucking big.
Exactly, the big orange one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Why do you wear clothes, Optimus?
He's an Optimus Prime in pig's clothing.
Actually, he is an alien. This works.
Yeah.
Spoilers for a nearly 10-year-old show, but I get the reasoning. I get the ideas. I get the thinking. You should have just done Godjin right.
Yeah, generally Godjin Rai has a better look, I would say, for combined form.
But also because there are limits to what you can design with Godjin Rai. Once you bring in something that's movie based, there are no limits.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Because you could, like I said, he was just up, or she was just up that 1 hour too long.
I mean, it's striking. You can say that.
It is striking. You could probably kill someone with it. It's so striking.
Oh yeah, children will die if this falls on them.
Oh yeah. The next one from them, I'll put this one. The last ones are all in one story, so I'll do them last. But they revealed the concept art for a Kurakara, again the big ones of Cyclonus. This one is a stylized. So this is like Rodimus. It's a stylized version of IDW Cyclonus. So
why was it only on Twitter that this was shown?
Don't know. It only just went up at TFW a minute ago, but it didn't get revealed. It wasn't revealed with any of the other ones. So very IDW head. He's got the gap in the face. He's got the very particular IDW horns. A lot of samurai-esque armor on him. Then he's got lots of pointy wings that he didn't have are pointy bits that he didn't really have in the comic, and the colors are quite the same.
Yeah, it's got the knife toes, like the what is it? The Justice of the Infinite Justice from Gundam Seed for some reason.
Yeah. There's a flashback to something I didn't want to be flashback to.
Yeah.
Justice Knight. Ryan Fade the Justice Knight. There we go.
There you go. Yeah, that's fine.
This is what, again, this could very easily edge over into too busy. I want to see a physical prototype for this.
This is the expensive one again, isn't it?
Oh yeah, so I won't be buying it.
But... No, but I think would you say this is for you is a more interesting pick than the Rodimus is?
Oh yeah,
I would say.
Also, like
is.
I really like IDW Cyclonus for the most part. Like I've actually, like, I haven't been talking about it, but like I've been rereading Volume 1, and I really like that moment where him and Magnus have the handshake at the end. Even if considering what happened to him, I kind of wish he had killed Tailgate.
Yeah, I see. I think that's where where I stopped liking Cyclonus as much, when it moved too heavily into the relationship stuff with him.
I think the relationship stuff on Cyclonus' side I never minded.
Oh, I just meant
there was
too.
Who he was in a relationship with.
Yeah, what I mean is there was too much of a focus on it. I would have liked him to have something else apart from, like, the relationship could have been the side story for him, but he could have had another main focus as well, if you know what I mean.
It would be good to have a bit more focus on him and Whirl.
Yeah, that was a lot more interesting.
Tailgate turned out to be a monster.
Yeah, that no one accepted.
No one accepted
as a monster.
And as I always said, Tailgate punched first.
He did.
He did. He seriously did. He punched Cyclonus as hard as he could. It just happens, compared to Cyclonus, he is a gnat.
Mm-hmm.
The intent was there because he was embarrassed.
Yeah,
he was. I don't know. Tailgate's a different character in all 3 seasons, like a completely different character in each of the 3 seasons. It's so weird.
That's called character growth.
No, Megatron is character growth. Rodimus is character growth. Nautica is character assassination, but it's rather the same. But Tailgate is just like, Tailgate feels like, well, he wasn't supposed to survive the season. Okay, so people think he's a bit of a baby, so I'm going to have that influence next season.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get him out of the next season for a while. Let's have him be a monster.
Yep.
Anyway, there's an old thing. But yeah. I want to see this. I want to see prototypes of this. See what it goes. And then it's like we're into the model kits, and not just model kits, but what I would say are the most interesting designs to come out of this one.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
And including that, like Karakuri Jazz is in here, and I really like his design.
Yeah, there's one thing about the design that I think is a bit not bad, but odd. It's mainly I'm guessing they're the door wings that are on his forearms. Yeah, it feels like that because they're so thin. They look like parts that would be left over from a transformation that they were like, well, we can't do anything. They'll stick them on the arms. Where here, I'm guessing they're going for like a shield, but I don't think they look bad. They just seem weirdly placed. They look a bit odd. Yeah. You can probably remove them though.
I might have put them on the shoulder rather than the forearm.
Maybe you can. Who knows, right?
But no, overall, I think the design looks very nice.
Very good.
Very appropriate for Jazz.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a Cybertron version of Jazz that you could have used for, I don't know, a TV series or
no,
toy line.
Jazz doesn't exist, Andy. Jazz doesn't show up in fiction.
Oh, that's true, actually.
We don't get Jazz in fiction. Like, RID had him. RID 2015 had him, and he showed up in the movies. A movie. Jazz hasn't had a television presence as a major character or even a major side character, like a properly recurring this is someone who matters, since animated.
Oh, you know who we could have voice a new Jazz Mikey?
Phil Lamar, please. I want Phil Lamar. I like Phil.
No. I've got a better suggestion.
Phil Lamar was in animated, and I love the animated Jazz.
I've got a better suggestion, especially because of his success of a recent movie as well that he's been in.
Are you going to say, I don't know, who's the guy who's in Space Jam?
Oh, yeah, that was who I was going for, LeBron James.
Yeah.
I hear he was amazing in that film.
I hear that film redefined something. Shameless self-promotion, I think it's called.
Please sign up to HBO Plus.
Yeah, it's not so much Space Jam the movie as, have you got your HBO subscription movie?
Yes, which is weird because it's not like the first Space Jam movie wasn't just a plug for, or based off of an advert for shoes.
Yeah, shoes,
And yeah,
and
that was more of a interesting, intricate movie than, than the new
also
movie.
they switched to CG.
Yeah, that was also a bad call.
Why? Why?
I'd still say visually that the Space Jam movie does a lot of really difficult,
I like it.
interesting techniques. Like when Bugs and Daffy are in the real world and they're
Yeah.
2D animated, that shit would have been hard
Yeah,
to
no,
do.
like if you
Hard.
ever want to see how hard that is, look at the making of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh
Like
god, yeah.
it's trying to get that right, especially when you got actors involved. Because it's not
Yeah.
like when you're acting against a CGI character, because you can have stand-ins and stuff like that. Like you're having physical stuff that you just cannot, having the Looney Tune Walt Disney like short aesthetic going on in a film and having characters act that way is kind of insane.
And making a 2D guy, a cartoon 2D guy,
Mm.
look like he has weight in a 3D realistic world. No thanks. That's not something I'd like to try and do. Very talented people worked on
Yep.
the first Space Jam.
Also, you should watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Anyone who hasn't seen it,
Oh
it's an
fuck, yeah,
amazing film,
that's such a good film. Such a
and
good film.
basically activated a lot of people's sex drives,
Yeah, strangely enough, yeah,
and made one of my friends realize that she was bisexual.
that's fair. I can understand that. Roger Rabbit is very attractive.
Yes, Robert Rabbit. Roger Rabbit has sent many down a dark and poppy path.
Roger Rubber Rabbit. That's definitely a sex toy name. Definitely.
Next prototype we saw was the Flametoys 4i model kit RC.
Yes.
She is sharing a lot of the aesthetic things with Windblade.
Yes. I don't
like
think it's as
Windblade
good.
more.
Oh, we're in the same camp. Yes, I agree. There's something about RC. I think it's the head design. It's very soft in
It's
terms of
very
its details.
and
You know what it looks like to me? It looks like she's wearing one of those swimming caps,
yeah.
and it doesn't do it for me too
And
much.
it helps like Windblade's colors like really make her head pop,
Yeah, definitely.
whereas RC don't got that. RC's
No,
gonna have a
she'll be
plain
white and
yeah.
pink, and that's it. And it's like, I mean,
I also like
that's her colors. So
because we saw some other shots of the prototype apart from the ones that are on TFW. Like
Mm.
the way the chest comes together seems like it would be very gappy.
You mean for the RC toy?
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas Windblade, everything I've seen in Windblade looks like it's very smooth, like continuous. Like it looks like there's really obvious jointing going on in RC. Like not bad, of course. Like they put a lot of work into this, and it looks good. But
Yes.
it's just like I think of comparing it to Windblade and one of the figures we're going to talk about in a second. I think she's very much at the sort of lower part of the totem.
Yeah, I think if it had a more, I mean, it's based on RC, so it's not going to have a really poppy color scheme. But if it was based on somebody else,
Prime RC.
yeah, would it? Yeah, maybe the Prime RC
There's
would,
how I'll justify buying this.
to repaint her into Prime RC.
Yeah, that's how I'll buy this.
I think if she had the Prime RC head design, that would also help. But yeah, I think the blue and the black would look quite nice against each other with the little highlights of pink here and there as well.
I heard someone get annoyed that movie RC is going to be a bike for the next movie.
That's a standard now.
Yeah, I was just like, well, she should be a car. I'm just like, the best RC is a bike. And I mean, if you argue with me about this, I will just sit you down and make you watch clips.
I think RC's been like a bike since the second Transformers movie.
Yeah, where they murdered her because Michael Bay didn't want to have her in it.
Don't talk about that, but that was at least 2009.
And she was a tricycle.
Yeah, I'd say she's been about a motorbike for about nearly 10 years now, for the most part.
Cyberverse is a car, and I think the Bumblebee movie version was designed as a car.
Right.
But what other major RCs are there?
Major RCs, not many.
Siege RC.
Oh no! You said major, not lame.
Lame. So yeah. Now we've got 3 design sketches for up and coming kits. These are all in the model kit line, and I want all of them. First up, we have one I'm sure Andy is absolutely not. We were talking, Andy, during the week.
I don't believe you.
We were talking, Andy. We speak.
We were there. You were there.
You were there. I wasn't speaking to you. You responded to me. You sent a smiley face. But that you need. I thought you should get a Flametoys kit because
Yes.
It's good when doing a podcast about Transformers to engage with the franchise on some level.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And you were saying, like, there's just no one I'm really interested in.
Mm.
Well, they heard you.
Yeah, and they gave us 3, which I could be potentially interested in.
So first up, probably the one that set most people off, we have Bludgeon.
I have a mild concern about
Bludgeon.
Bludgeon.
Flag? Is that a flag?
Yes, that's the stereotypical
The
Japanese flag. Yeah.
Shogun flag.
Yeah, it'll go on his back with a cannon as well.
So, what is your concern about Bludgeon?
It's mainly his head design. It looks very small in the concept art. I'm hoping that won't translate over to the real figure, and the actual face, the skull face, will be a bit bigger. The helmet size, the helmet size is maybe a little bit too big, especially compared to how teeny the skull is on the inside. Like I say, this is 2D artwork, so hopefully that'll be tweaked around. But that's really it. I can't say I'm a massive fan of his toes, because I'm not sexually into
I
feet
hadn't
personally.
noticed that.
Yeah.
I think I'm not in love with it, but the
idea behind it makes sense.
They're you can see the bones at the back of his foot. I quite like that. And
the idea behind it is it makes sense. You know, they're going for the Japanese sandal effect. It's like, okay, I get it. It's neat. I'm not 100% into that, but it's different. I'll give you that. But generally, it looks pretty solid.
Yeah, no, I really like him. This is not helping the fact that at some point I want to be Flametoys a completionist.
I thought you were going to say this isn't helping my foot fetish.
Well, no, nothing will help my foot fetish, Andy. Beyond help. Yeah, because I'm still behind on 3 kits.
Wow, that's so many.
Yeah, well, I still don't have a pre-order in for Windblade just because of cash and stuff.
I want you to become 100% completionist on Gundam kits.
Okay, so I'll speak to you when I've extended my life by 200 years.
Yeah, exactly. It should be easy.
And they'll just keep making them then. They'll still be Gundam
premium
kits.
Bandai included.
Oh, well, that's mean. All the RX-78s.
Yeah,
to be fair, I do have a version of an RX-78 coming to me, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
So the next one, and I was really surprised to see this wasn't a repaint. Even though there's really no reason for it to be a repaint. It's just kind of he's been locked in this for a long time now.
Yes.
And it is Banzaitron. The espionage boy. So he's certainly got a very similar profile, but as far as I can tell, no shared parts. And Flametoys don't use, they're high grade they're more high grade than master grade, so they do not use inner frames. So this is going to be all original parts by the looks of it. And yeah, he comes with a nice shank and a gun. And I think he looks badass.
I actually prefer this to Bludgeon, to be honest.
Same here.
The only thing I don't think he will, but if I could be picky and ask for something, I would be like, can he have his crab?
Oh, that would be nice.
I don't think he will, but it'd be nice.
With Action Master Bumblebee, they integrated the helicopter pack.
That's true. That's why I'd like his stupid crab. I don't know what you do with it, because the crab just turned into a gun.
Crab
but
shield.
Maybe they can do something with it. Oh, yeah, just make a giant crab shield. Yeah, that would work. Yeah.
There you go. And the last one, we do not have quite as good an image as this, but we have Black Arachnia.
Why don't we have a better image of this? This is the most important one.
Yeah, especially they didn't just do Black Arachnia. They did the thing to make sure I actually have to buy this. They did it animated. Andy, it's animated meets Beast Wars.
Yeah, it's a weird amalgamation of the two. I'd really like to have a better head shot, because the head, from the distance that we have, it almost looks like the RC one.
It kind of does, but I think that's kind of just more the layout of Black Arachnia's face.
I think you're right, but that's why a proper image would have been really nice. It looks good, though.
Yeah, it looks very good. It's for anyone who wants to know why this is. So it's got Black Arachnia's traditional colors, right? Mm-hmm. But the profile and Black Arachnia's traditional chest. Let's just call it out now. But the profile, it's got the abdomen and the very particular leg ornamentation and arrangement that you find on the animated version of Black Arachnia. Mm-hmm. And the overall proportions are a lot more in line with her. And I love that design. And Jai mentioned this, and now he's like, oh my God, I'll never escape. Hey, Andy, remember that Legends toy that was very flawed, but I was very happy to have?
The Japanese Legends toy, not the scaled. Yes.
No.
Yes.
That got repainted into G1. It was a repaint with a retool and had the pedipalp boobs. So this means this is a high grade, stylized version of Mayor Megatron's secretary.
I guess so. Yeah, technically, you're
So
not
this
wrong.
is now a must-buy for everyone because
Oh,
now you
no.
can own official Legends material, and
There-
that's the best version of Transformers fiction ever written.
I think there is something to be concerned about with this concept artwork as well as with the Bludgeon one.
But you can get tiny glasses.
But Mikey, those heels look quite small.
They do, but I'm more concerned with tiny glasses now, and you can't ruin this for me.
Yeah, but she has a really fat ass. And if she has really tiny heels and a fat ass, we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Didn't the Legends one have a little bit of issue with
Oh, more
back
than a little
heaviness?
bit, but that was just like
Yeah.
an old animated problem.
Totally, but that could translate over to the. I hope it doesn't. I hope when it comes out, obviously they've taken into consideration those balancing, engineering, physics, woo woo.
Yep.
But it was the same as when I saw Bludgeon. I thought, oh, tiny head. Hopefully that won't carry over. I saw Black Arachne. I was like, I like you, big booba, the big bum, the whole Legend design. I'm on head. Maybe we need a close up shot of that, and then tiny ankles or heels. And I was like, I hope it's okay.
Yeah.
I love the idea though. It's a lot more interesting than the RC one, that's for sure.
Oh my, yes, RC is just like, as RC frequently is, the bottom of the totem pole.
Yes, unfortunately, it's not RC's fault. You know,
No,
it's
she's
just
tiny.
there's a lot of RC as well, and
And
yes,
they keep fucking up her toys.
yeah.
Yeah.
The official ones, I let go. I let go the official ones because you can only do so much with the budget that you're given.
Third
You know.
party, like that time someone did a third party version, which was basically, here's the front of a car and a crotch with wheels.
Yeah.
Why did you think that should be made? Anyway, that's Flametoys. I think they've revealed a lot of stuff to keep people happy or talking it at the very least.
I think
Andy,
so. Yeah. Yes.
why not take us on to some meta-piece news?
Well, since you were talking about RC, or we were talking about RC, we may as well talk about the first look that we got at the Masterpiece MP55, or 55 if you want. Nightbird, the obligatory repaint / slight retool of RC into Nightbird. So, yay! I guess this is the new thing that we always have to do. If there's a Starscream, there's the Seekers. If there's an Optimus Prime, there's a Magnus. If there's an RC, there's a Nightbird. I guess that's the thing now. The Japanese market should go live in the July 28th. I assume that means, I don't know why I said it like that. But I assume it means like pre-orders are going to go up for this on the 28th of July. It says it's from the end of the Nightbird episode, obviously. Nightbird includes several new accessories like swords, blast effects, and extra face parts. We don't really get a good look at any of them.
No, so the sword, like, some of these are based off the Legends figure. They're not based off the TV. Like, those swords are based off the Legends toy.
That's what I was thinking as well. Are these other like lightsaber swords the ones that Hot Rod came with? Are they just their own mold?
I think these are all new original pieces.
Okay, I guess she just has
she's got the size as well.
Yes, yeah, she has that
size, and she's got. I don't know why she has a different face.
It'll probably be like a different eye expression more than a face. Unless wasn't there a shot with her without her mask part on, and they were all like horrified? I can't remember.
I haven't seen Enter the Nightbird in about 15 years.
It's been a while for me as well. She has two guns, and she has a thigh piece, which I assume does a RoboCop kind of style.
Yeah, and effects parts as well.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm definitely I'm more interested in her than I am in RC, as I was like. I think the Legends Nightbird was one of those like genuine this should not be as good as it is.
Oh, great! Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah,
it was great. And like what you took was a good mold, and then you like really like the best RC mold officially released. Well, G1 RC. I'm just saying it. And then you like really upped it with like a premium paint job and a cool head sculpt and stuff like that. And
neat weapons. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely like how she looks. I think she's probably going to be priced out of my market because it's Masterpiece and they hate me. But
I was going to say, was that Masterpiece figure well regarded? I can't remember.
I remember a lot of complaints about the aesthetic, but I didn't follow up on the reception.
Okay.
So like I haven't seen a single review of her.
Right.
So I don't know if it's like, hey, it's great, or hey, it's not so great. But let's just go out on a limb and say there's something wrong with it that's breakable, and that's really should be in a toy that costs as much as that does.
You're probably right. Yeah. Other Masterpiece news we had was the MP53 Plus, which is Crosscut. Obviously, a redo of Skids. It's going to be a Takara Tomy Mall exclusive. Hurrah! New head. I don't think there's anything else new about it.
Doesn't look like.
No info on release or pricing. I would imagine it's your standard affair. The pictures aren't very good, but it's Crosscut or no, it is Crosscut. I was thinking, did I call it something else? Yeah, it's Crosscut. So it's silver, red feet, red head, new head, I should say. But it's still the Skids toy, which Skids is now. Yeah, is either right or have I made a mistake?
No. I think I'm a little uninterested in this, in terms of the aesthetics, anyway, because I think Reboost, the red one with all the Diaclone features, that's the most interesting version of Skids coming out.
I don't remember that one, to be honest.
It's gonna come with things extra. It's gonna have a little Diaclone man and a bike for him to ride and stuff like that.
Okay, fair enough. I do remember the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is I've never liked the Crosscut head.
It doesn't like your head either. How about that?
I'm not paying. He's not paying for my head.
You don't know that, Mikey.
You don't have to buy my head.
There's a bounty.
In the shop. They're not charging premium for my head.
You don't know the wanted lists, Mikey. They're out there. They're out there. But no, it's the Crosscut head is kind of I think it's a good background robot design. I don't think it's a good hero robot design. It's not one you want in front of the camera, but if it's in the background, it's that'll do. That's fine. Yeah, I'd be okay with slapping that sausage down, if you would. Mikey, we have American toys, at least two, both in the kitty cat variety. So tell me about the kitty cats.
Kitty cats. So this one I didn't expect, but we have confirmation of a deluxe Cyberverse Cheetor. So
no Warrior. No, Deluxe are the good ones, right?
Deluxe are the good ones.
Yeah.
So this is based off of Cheetor, who had a long and happy life in season 3 of Cyberverse. Nothing bad happened. He lived well and did many accomplishments.
This almost sounds like, why is he getting a deluxe toy from your mouth? That's what it sounds like.
I would say he was very prominent in season 2.
He was, yes. From the episodes I saw, yeah.
Yes, and he was in season 3.
Okay, right. Are you saying there are more deserving characters that maybe should have gone
He was in season 3 as long as Shockwave was in season 3.
Okay. Shockwave has a Warrior toy as well, doesn't he? Sorry, yes. Deluxe toy.
Yeah, he does. But he's Shockwave as well, so he's got that in his favor.
That's true, yeah.
So this is a little weird because this is the first one coming with accessory parts that weren't in the show. So he's coming with armored up claws, an armored up helmet for the cat mode, and blades, which form they remind me of some of the Beast Machine toys.
In what sense?
The shoulders, how the shoulders, when in the cat mode, they attach onto the shoulders, and the Beast Machine toys always had these big sweeping shoulders.
I don't know why they.
Yeah,
it feels like it's not even like the swords are plugged onto the sides, so they're like faux wings. They're just like you say on the top of the cat shoulders for some reason, which is odd.
Weren't in the show unless he's coming back, and this is something he has in the new one.
This is the movie, Mikey. This is Super Cheetor.
But they would have to revive the dead.
That's fine.
Hey, if he's in it, he's in it. But maybe they're
9
just
lives and all
that. In terms of a toy, you can't actually give him much. To be honest, he doesn't.
No,
he didn't have many accessories. But it also means they didn't show him what he looks like without the helmet and all the gear on.
You mean with for his cat mode?
Yeah, it's weird.
No, that's true. Yeah.
I will say the robot mode looks excellent. Really good face sculpt.
Yeah,
really, really good face sculpt, and it's very on model. It that is what Cheetor looks like in the show.
Gappy in the usual places, unfortunately, that forearm gap is quite egregious. Unfortunately,
it is. You know. But like I said, Cheetor was a pretty big part of season 2. Unfortunately, he's one of those performances that never got past the I'm new and also some voice direction choices.
Yeah, because he got past that all in season 3, right?
He was in season 3 for a bit. Live a long and happy life, Cheetor.
Meow.
Nothing bad will happen to you.
Meow.
Look at the sunset. Isn't it beautiful? So unfortunately, he was always one of those performances I thought was fairly weak. and he's not like Hot Rod, who got like main focus for most of the show then, and got like a lot of chance to really grow out of the early blues. But I would say, like, for a character that is not one of my favorite ones from the show, I think this looks really good, and I would be interested in picking him up.
Yeah.
I really like Cyberverse.
What's the Build-A-Figure part he comes with, Mikey?
He doesn't. He comes with armor for a cat. He could have come with a Build-A-Figure.
I'm guessing
Like
they're dropping
Windblade.
that idea, which is probably I think it's a good idea. I don't think Transformers is a place for Build-A-Figures, personally.
Think like the one they wanted to do, McAdam, like
That makes sense, I
fine,
guess.
but it's also like McAdam.
That's the first one we've had, I guess.
He is important, but it's still McAdam, and I don't care. And again, this is another figure that says this isn't Windblade.
Yeah, it's true. Or Hailstorm, whatever she was called.
Or Slipstream, sorry.
That's the one. Slipstream.
Prominent characters for the entire show.
Yes.
Well, not Slipstream, because she definitely got murdered. But
no. Spoilers.
Spoilers. If you haven't watched the show now, you're not going to watch it. You really should. But I want a Megatron X. I want an accurate Megatron X. I also want the second half of Cyberverse Megatron design.
Do you not think it's likely that you might get a Megatron X with the movie?
Maybe, but I don't know. We'll see. Basically, I mean, it's an easy one to do in some ways. It's it's a straight repaint.
Because this can't be an isolated release, can
No,
it? It can't just be especially because this has specifically new packaging as well.
Yeah, it would be very strange. It would be very strange if this was a one-off. But as I said, this is just not Windblade.
No. Why do you think? No, this is under Dinobots Unite. So this has.
Yeah.
Is Dinobots Unite the movie that's coming out?
Dinobots.
I think it is, right?
The Dinobots are very prominent in one of the movies.
Okay.
And I know that the Dinobots Unite gimmick is the toys combine.
Oh yeah, for the combine for the two Transformers that slap together that we've talked about a few times. That's right. Yeah.
Which I'm hoping is more a toy gimmick than a show gimmick, because I've never liked that gimmick. But hey, Cyberverse is a well-written show, so I'll trust them to do what they can. They made the armor up with vehicles didn't work. It was still dumb, but they made it work. The other one we have our first look at Voyager Tigertron for Kingdom. So this is a Voyager Tiger. He is okay. So a lot of his aesthetics are the same as Cheetor, but he does have some engineer. He's not an upscaled version of it. There's just the legs transform the same, the arm transform the same. There's some differences in the chest. Minor, but it looks like there's some difference in how the transformation works as well, because he has an overall less gappy tiger mode versus the cheetah mode. Apart from that, he is pretty much down to his engineering is pretty much identical, which
makes sense, I guess.
Makes sense, but I think because it's a tiger, which is a bulky cat, the way the back legs work does not work as well as Cheetor's does. He's got a new head sculpting cat mode, which I don't care for.
You mean the tiger head, or do you mean his robot head? Sorry.
Tiger robot head's really good, actually.
Yeah. What don't you like about the tiger head?
Really soft looking.
You want them hard tiger angles, do you?
It's got this unnatural softness to it.
Okay.
There's no definition in it.
Do you think that's because of the very white glossy plastic?
Maybe, but there's some there's sculpting opportunities they could have taken here.
I think my issue with the tiger head is it looks fine in tiger mode, because they've got this kind of peachy color as the fur goes out to the side. That doesn't transition too well, I think, over to the robot mode, which is primarily just the pearlescent kind of white. So it's just this random peachy color just right on the chest where the head is.
The peachy thing merging with standard white is really weird, because tigers don't do that. They do one or the other. Yeah. You can get one, you get white tigers that are kind of that peach color, but you also get ones that are stark white. So it feels like they wanted to have the tiger mode in that darker color, and then they wanted the robot mode to be mostly pearlescent. So their approach was to try and merge them.
Yeah, they should have gone for one or the other, I think.
Yeah, and he is I am really not particularly interested in him. He has the
No.
gut gun, which lots of people got very excited about, but I'm just like, I find him very underwhelming.
I think he is a better Cheetor, though, because obviously he's a
Yeah.
big. It almost feels like Cheetor. This is what Cheetor was meant to be, but he's restricted because he's a deluxe figure, and this is a leader figure of
Yeah.
Voyager. Voyager. Yeah. If Cheetor could have been this, it would have been great, but obviously then he would be out of scale. So I get it, but this feels like it would have been better if Cheetor was this. But like I say, I understand why that's not feasible.
So
It's
yeah,
not Inferno, so I don't care. It's not Tarantulas as well, so I don't care.
Yep. So I'm afraid, like, let's be honest, it's Tigertron, who even when people do care about the Maximals, which I do, I like Maximals. Tigertron is by far him and Air Razor are. There's a reason they kind of got kicked off the show because no one really missed them.
Yeah, but it stops them having bird and tiger sex.
But they did.
Now you can recreate it.
They did.
Kinda. Well, not by choice.
They had an unholy hybrid child, which was also them.
Well, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the kitty cats.
Yes. Shall I move us on, Mike?
Move us on, Andy.
All right. This is the convention kind of wrap up. So for Baltimore TFCon, guests have been announced. Bob Budiansky, the creator of Transformers Generation 1, as the advert says here. And also Livio Ramondelli, comic artist, person, lad, guy, are both going to be in attendance at Baltimore, which is in America, obviously. It's going to be October the 22nd to the 24th. It's going to be more than meets the eye, I'm sure. Also, TF Nation does welcome Rescue Bots creators to the big broadcast 2021. They're going to be getting Nicole Dubuc?
Hang on, 2 of these are already there. They're on the Prime panel.
Yeah, it's a separate panel.
It's the same guest.
No, it's a separate one. It's completely different.
It's the same fucking people.
Brian Holfeld, Jeff Klein, and Greg Johnson. Yeah, I'm guessing they just got 2 extra people and went, okay, we can do that. I don't know how much info you can really mine from Rescue Bots, as it wasn't a very deep show, because it was made for preschoolers. Might be interesting to get some questions, I suppose, but I can't imagine there's going to be like, oh yeah, actually, Unicron was the Earth all along.
What was your deep intent behind that? The lesson that we should all get along.
Yeah, what was the deep philosophical journey that you were taking the green guy on? I don't know any of the cast members. Of the green guy. Boulder Pusher, Shove guy, Shovel Man.
I know there's a green one.
There's a fire engine guy. There's a cop person.
And there's a helicopter.
The helicopter. Yes, that's the 4, I think.
Orange.
And white. Like skids. Not skids, rum. Like rum. Sorry, I've been drinking like bleach again. Colors are changing before my very eyes. But yeah, there you go. So new panel as well. From that place, from TF Nation. Any thoughts, Mikey, or do you wanna talk about what you did this week?
We got one more bit of news. I'll just throw it in.
Oh my god!
So IDW just announced a new comic book, which I described as treading on sacred ground. They've announced Wreckers Treading Circuits. This is a mini-series that ties into the current ongoing, and it is introducing the Wreckers into this universe. Written by David Mariotti, who worked on Transformers vs. Terminator, Sonic the Hedgehog, and is, I believe, the current Transformers editor, and illustrated by Jack Lawrence, who most of you will know him from Lost Light, but he's also a prominent artist on the Sonic comic and My Little Pony, I believe. And colors by Candice Han. I don't know who that is. Worked last year on Back to the Future versus Transformers, which we still haven't done because its release schedule was janked. So, this is a different take. The basic premise is that the Wreckers are a performing like troubadour thing, which is secretly like undercover spy people. So they go to other planets and do all these talented things, and they're actually working like undercover spy missions.
That doesn't sound like the Wreckers.
Yeah.
The wreckers are the, oh no, these are the worst Autobots. Let's get them to go on suicide missions and do very, very mean things to people.
Maybe it's a collection of very well-known unpleasant people.
Can you imagine Impactor like juggling, going on a ball and juggling like a ringmaster?
Will I tell you who the characters are going to be? The main
yeah.
main six, I think. So, Thunderclash.
Okay, not really a wrecker. He's very good in straight lacing the IDW universe so far, but okay.
Ricochet.
Okay, I don't know anything about Ricochet, to be honest.
Hotshot.
From the Protector bots?
No.
From Armada?
Technically the Cybertron design.
Potato.
The retool from the Hound.
Okay.
Minerva.
No.
Circuit.
Which one's Circuit?
He's an action master.
Oh, he was on the Lost Light as well, right?
Yeah. And
okay.
I can't be mad about this. Aileron.
Okay. Again, not really a crazy murderer like super.
No, but I am so happy to see
spy.
my girl again. I'm so happy to see her. I've missed her. I
think you might be disappointed potentially. You might not be. You might not be.
Like, well, she's not dating RC in this one because RC's with Greenlight, I think. But
for now,
that would be great.
Time to get cooked, Greenlight.
Break them up.
No, it's time to get NTR'd. Boom.
And
Greenlight just has to watch as Aileron's just pounding away in her.
My God,
just crying.
This. I'm just thinking this is like this. You could have a whole weirdly like. Can I just do that and be Andy and not be invited to anything ever again? Or you could do it here's this weirdly serious story about this swashbuckling daredevil type who dropped into RC's life and she just is completely overcome with emotions. It's like this weird drama of RC cheating on her girlfriend.
I like my version because it's really gross and not very nice, and no one would like it. So I like it.
So yeah, they're going to be on a mission, and we've got preview pages, which is what I'm assuming is them doing a free dive thing to that part of their performance, and Ricochet and Hotshot transforming in midair. And what looks to me like they're pointing at a camera and doing "Welcome to Jackass."
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So, like I said, sacred ground. They are treading, not just with. This is the Wreckers in IDW. Those three series are widely regarded as some of the best comic books written in the last 10 years.
Yes.
Longer actually for Last Stand, but to say that just doing something with the word Wreckers in it sets up some expectations of quality
and tone as well.
And tone, yes. If this is going for it's lighthearted, but oh no, that's fine. And I'm
the art style looks very cutesy, is how I would describe it.
Very Jack Lawrence would be how I'd put it.
Okay. I'm sticking with cute.
Yeah, well, it's the same style he had in Lost Light. It's actually
I'd say cuter than that, to be honest.
I think it's
tighter. It's tighter, but it's definitely more. It's not super deformed either. But no, I'm gonna stick with cute. It's like a bubbly, happy adventure, with very little consequence. is how the artwork makes it feel to me.
Yeah,
you put this up against Last Stand of the Wreckers. It's one feels very dark and grim. This does not it will. If they try to go down that road, I don't think it will be able to pull it off with the artwork.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It would have to be an art shift. Would be there would have to be and now you're fucked.
And now Alex Milner's doing it. Oh no!
Or Jack is just we will use dark colors today. The darkest. I don't want you to see my lines. Also, I've just realized they're all jumping out of the plane to do presumably Daredevil shit. Aileron turns into a little jet thing. This is not as Daredevil for her.
No.
Because she can fly.
It's smarter.
True. She didn't tell anyone else that they didn't have parachutes. But unfortunately, I'm not super familiar with David Mariotti's work because he co-wrote Terminator, but he wasn't the primary guy. Unfortunately, the only thing I read that he's written was the very long explanation at the end of Transformers versus Visionaries on why it was okay they murdered Cup, and you need to realize the Cup is dead and he's never coming back.
Oh, that's not good optics.
That just that was the first thing he did as an editor, and boy did it leave an impression.
A positive one?
He's never coming back. You all need to accept this. Which was a weird thing to include.
A tad.
At the end of your universe. But I'm curious. Obviously, I'll give this a chance. I give everything a chance. And I haven't read a Transformers book in a while. Not since I haven't even read Beast Wars in a while because I've been letting it build up because the last issue's out next month and I want to read the whole arc. But yeah, I'm more excited for King Grimlock. I'll be completely honest. I hope this works well. I hope whatever you want this to be, it works well. But I also hope that you do not put the name Wreckers on anything. Even going back to Marvel, a story with the Wreckers, expectations. And I don't think they're unfair expectations. A story with Wreckers should lean into the darker side of things. It's just fundamental to the concept. And last time someone reinvented Wreckers, we got Dark of the Moon.
Yeah, that's true. Which meant nothing. Wreckers meant nothing in Dark of the Moon at all.
It was a name, and they were weird engineer guys who were basically just as murderous as Optimus Prime.
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't really have a character as far as I'm concerned.
They ripped the baby apart with their bare hands. Yeah, one of the protoforms. One of the Decepticon protoforms. They literally ripped him limb from limb.
I mean, I'll tell you what. I can't remember.
I remember that because it's one of those scenes where it's not when Optimus comes back and says we let everyone think we were dead, so you would realize the Decepticons can't be trusted and you needed us. And my entire thing was just they wiped out a city. We saw people explode.
That's fine.
But
there are always more humans.
And it's just always takes me back to that line in Revenge of the Fallen. You'll never stop at one. Clearly you don't care. You're insane. Yeah, so that is the news for this week, really.
Nice. Well, Mikey, what have you been up to this week? What have you done?
Fun. What have I done? Continuing the Monogatari catch up. I'm almost done with Bakken Monogatari, and I'm going to go on to Monogatari's second season. Maybe not straight away. I think I'll either go on to Fate Stay Night or check out what's in my backlog and see if anything sort of grabs my attention.
You also have a lot of Gundam stuff as well, I suppose, technically, if you wanted a robot thing.
I'm thinking War in the Pocket might be next.
I think I've seen that. I didn't like that one.
Yeah, it's one I know gets well reviewed, and I know it's well animated.
Its main focus is on a small child, so I hate it.
I don't know this for certain, but is that the one with the Alex, or is that the one with the ground type?
I think no, it should be the Alex in that one, right. And it's the one with a really unique Zaku design, which you never ever see anywhere else.
I'm curious about it.
I remember there are elements in there which are interesting, but I remember just being fairly bored because, like I say, primarily focuses on a child. It has a really shitty intro. I'm sorry, the intro is absolute fucking garbage. There's no hype to the intro. It's ass.
Ass. But yeah, I will say something I'd forgotten. Jesus, you cannot watch a Monogatari series half-hearted.
You gotta pay attention, man.
It tells you to sit the fuck down and listen.
Yeah, read.
Read. Yeah. Do not blink, do not breathe. And it doesn't matter if you're watching it and you speak Japanese or you don't, and it's just it's so well edited and so well animated. I really, really can't underemphasize or overemphasize how well put together that show is. Yeah, so watched next episode Kobayashi Dragon Maid. That's remaining good. Haven't watched next episode of Villainous yet. I'll probably watch that at some point in the next few days.
When you kind of iffy on Dragon Maid?
I was! No, Dragon Maid I was good on.
Okay.
Villainous, I was saying, this was what they started. Yeah, because this is when they started making stuff because it was successful, not because the author had a story to tell.
Okay.
Which is always worrisome. But, yeah, didn't watch a lot of just general. Watch a few documentaries this week that had nothing to do with anything. But there is a big thing this week for TV and stuff. But I made a few sales during the week, so I got the pre-order in for Planet S Caucus.
What's that? What's that one?
IDW Grimlock.
Oh, good, nice,
so
cool.
It's the early pre-order, so listen, if in October or December I don't have the money, but we won't worry.
Mikey has the money for the Jurassic Park set. People do not fear.
Yes, that's paid for. That's done. Like, I'm getting that. And I've got a box coming to me from Hobby Frontline, which includes my F90 Unit 2, which is the pink one, the violet one rather. And it includes the FA78-1 Full Armor Gundam 2, or Full Armor Gundam Blue unit.
So the one I got?
No, I think yours is the Thunderbolt version, yeah?
No, I don't have a Thunderbolt version.
So this is the base figure. This is an RX-78. Originally done in green. But for this release, it was done in blue.
No, I don't think. Yeah, that's fine.
And then it comes with a lot of add-ons with lots of armor parts.
Oh, maybe it is. I'm pretty sure it's the
hang
one I sent you last week.
I don't know if that was it.
P Banda exclusive comes with a big sniper rifle.
Definitely P Banda. I don't remember sniper rifle, but
no. Yeah, send me an image and I'll probably say, yeah, that's the same fucker.
maybe it is. But I wanted it for a while, and I don't mind getting stuff based off the 78 if it is anyway unique or different.
Yeah, interesting, I think is the word you're looking for.
And Jesus. I don't find the RX-78 interesting. I find weird shit interesting.
No, I appreciate the RX-78 because it is, it's the one that started it all, but I don't care for it at all. And I get annoyed with the amount of RX-78s that come out as well.
The ones you sent me last week were the Unit 4 and the Unit 5, weren't they?
I can't remember.
I don't. So this is no, that's the wrong picture. I think that's the wrong picture. Is that the right picture? That's the right picture.
It gets real faffy when you talk about variations of the RX-78. That's the issue.
Yeah. So this is the full armor. This is the fully armored version.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's neat though.
Yeah, and the base version is basically just a blue with a bit of orange and a red face of a base Gundam. So that's coming to me, and the F90 I'm really excited about.
The F91 or the F90? The
F90.
Oh, okay.
So it's the purple one, that the Unit 2 version. So I'm really interested in that. And you can get one of it's got all those armor up kits, so you can get one that turns it into the F91, or at least like gives it F91 abilities. But like some of those, I was going through some of those kits and stuff, and they're nuts. They're absolutely nuts. Apart from
some
the one
of them are okay, but I don't think the prices on them are like worthwhile.
They're all premium Bandai.
That's the problem, yeah.
Like they've got one in there that's like the setup that was used in the Crossbone manga when they were going to.
No.
So no, I don't. It's fine. It's fine. That wasn't with the yeah. I'd have to repaint it and stuff, and it's €40. I'm fine.
You sure?
For those kind of a couple of add-ons, like I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
Thought you were a real fan. Guess not.
Speaking of which, I finally finished and fully painted up the high grade full cloth.
Hey.
So I now have the real grade base version of the X1. I've got the X1 Skull Heart, and I've got the full cloth all in a nice display on my PC. So if I'm being objective, this is the worst version of the X1 in terms of a kit.
Oh wait, do you have the Build Fighters version?
No, but it's basically the exact same kit.
Oh, fair enough.
It actually just has a couple of more weapon accessories. So at the point, this is the most recent one, apart from like the X-Zero full cloth, which is coming out. But this is the most recent one of how many did I send you yesterday? 9 versions of this mold used.
Something like that. Yeah, I think so.
And this mold is showing its age in terms of clear overuse. Some bits are a little looser than I'd like. And if we're honest, all the extra stuff, like the big weapon or the cloths themselves, make this really awkward and faffy to use. So if I was saying, oh, you want the best experience with the Crossbone Gundam X1 high-grade kit, I would say go for any of the standard ones without all the accoutrement. I'd probably say go with the X-Zero just because I like the weapons on that. But however, I love the X1. And I love the full cloth. And I love the Skull Heart. And I am so fucking happy to have this. And fuck reality. I like my feelings, though. I'll take my feelings on this over, objective quality. I love this display. They're like I got them tiered in different stands. I painted a lot of the swords gold. I love the weapon that the full cloth has. The ridiculous. Basically, it's a mask that kills you. Yeah. I'm really really happy with it. Yeah, like I might bring the H2 the Dark Hound out as well and put it next to them, but I might not. I'm thinking like you suggested getting the Tri-Age and customizing it with the Dark Hound. I might do that if I can find the non-exclusive version of the Tri-Age.
Didn't I do that because I was being an asshole and trying to get you to spend money though?
Yeah, but then I had an idea.
Okay.
So we'll see if that ever happens. But the base Tri-Age is way too expensive. €30 for a non-exclusive one.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, so I would never say buy this if you want to experience the mold, because the mold was never designed to have this stuff. Like I'm interested in trying the Master Grade Full Cloth because that was the first use mold. That's the only time that mold was ever used.
How old is the Master Grade?
2007. Like all the ones that came after it were the Verka versions, which were an original mold, and they were all just like repainted to hell. But the full cloth was like this really weird isolated release. So like I want to see if like even like an older kit, which you can pick up fairly cheap, but the fact that it was designed to incorporate all this, did that work in its favor? Is what I'm curious about. I don't know if I will pick it up, but I am curious to. And if they like did a redux of this, or like a new mold or something, like I'm a sucker. But yeah, like if you're into the full cloth or the crossbone, like it's a great thing to have. Please be aware you're not buying it for objective value. Yeah, and the only other thing of note that's worth talking about is I watched Master of the Universe Revelations Part 1.
Oh my god.
Which I think they were very wise not to call He-Man and Masters of the Universe Revelations.
They were also very wise to not call it Season 1, which I'm shocked they didn't do.
Yeah, me too.
Because that is the Netflix trend.
Yeah, and 5 episodes, like, although, like, my god, it's like streaming means that you get to release everything all at once and hype it up. But it also means you do not have the week-by-week ongoing talk. I mean, talks about this show will die off in the next fortnight. So
I don't know. It's got some reactions at the moment.
It has weird, like, I don't know.
I'd say understandable.
I haven't followed the marketing at all on this. I saw the trailer.
And you're not a big Masters fan to begin with, really, are you?
Like I like 2000X, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like I just think that's a good show. But
it's an amazing show. It's not just good.
Right. But I also think like the original show is garbage. Like I'll never get those run cycles out of my head. Ever.
I would disagree strongly.
It's garbage, Andy. It's just not.
It's really not garbage. It's not. It's like
it's not worse than what was out there at the time, but that's not actually an endorsement.
I think if you're measuring it by the standards of the time, it's fairly decent, and for what it did, it was quite good at giving good positive messages to kids at the time. Had a decent array of characters to at least visually look at. I think the animation was good, though incredibly limited. Like everything's very smooth because it was rotoscope. The problem was there just wasn't enough of it, and they managed to get around the fact that government was leaning on them not to make a violent show. I think as best as they could.
Which is weird because like in the next couple of years they ended up with like stuff like Transformers and GoBots where everyone like shot each other. Like they missed a lot, but they still hit occasionally.
That's the thing. They because they were earlier than them, not by massive amounts, but they were still earlier. They had to follow rules.
He-Man came out at the start of the post-Reagan era trend, wasn't it? Like it was one of the premier ones. Like it was it was a testing ground almost for
it was pretty much the one. It was pretty much the one where everybody looked at it and went, "Oh shit, we can make toy adverts for kids and we can sell fucking toys." He-Man was I think He-Man was one of the ones that like really strived for that. So I honestly wouldn't say it's a crap show. I honestly wouldn't. I would I would give the show to like young kids, 4 to 5. I think it's a really solid show for 4 to 5 year olds.
I think that's one of the ones. I think if it's one where you're trying to defend it to me as an adult because you think it's actually like good beyond that.
No.
Which is something I
wouldn't go that far. I mean, that's people do that with like G.I. Joe and Transformers and other shows of that.
We all need to accept that we were idiots and we watched stupid stuff. Now, I think some of them are more enjoyable than others, and I I just find He-Man on the low scale.
That's fair. Yeah, that's an enjoyment thing rather than a quality issue, I guess, at that point.
I don't like it. It's garbage.
Jesus.
So I have no investment, and also I hate nostalgia now. So
Well, that's mainly Transformers' fault, I would say, at this point.
it's mainly Transformers, but it is extending out to all mediums because
yeah.
for God's sake, move on with your lives. But like, make new things, new ideas. Like
Hollywood doesn't want to. I get why Hollywood won't, because like if you make a new thing, you have to invest in something which is not certainty. If you go for something that already has a fan base, in theory, which is what they try and do a lot, but then change it dramatically, then people will just come to it. It's like that's not really how this works, Hollywood. Because if you dramatically change a property that it's made for the established fan base to the point that it doesn't look like the same show, that fan base is going to be annoyed by it. It would be like
if you dramatically change a property in any way, like you're going to get press.
You are going to get press, and
press is what they care about. I don't care about one thing I will say: Netflix does not give a damn about the fan base. They care about the average viewer, because the average viewer are what makes up their most of their numbers. And whatever about the fan base are watching it regardless, whether they love it or hate it.
Kevin Smith literally said that in an interview, which was concerning that they would be so outwards confident about that.
Condescending.
You don't say it. Yeah, don't say that in public. We know that's the case.
Don't show what's behind the curtain. Didn't go well for us. So anyway, this is a direct sequel, which I think kind of hurts the show at times. In terms of its execution, because those first 10 minutes were very difficult to get through for me.
Why is that?
Because they tried too hard to make it a direct sequel in terms of really cringy dialogue.
I would agree. I would say the dialogue generally through I've only seen 4 episodes.
Yeah,
I would say the dialogue can get really, really bad through most of those 4 episodes.
I think what gets me is when they try to emulate the 80s writing style, because like you can't, like the people in the 80s. It's like trying to emulate a Marvel comic from the 1980s. Like, you're not trained in writing in that style, because you're trained in writing a different style, which always comes across as parody to me. And
I don't know. I would
Skeletor's
also say
got some lines in those first 10 minutes, and I literally, like, I was honestly going like, can I fast forward this without missing anything?
You got to admit though that the new character, whatever she's called, Teela's not girlfriend but maybe girlfriend, she has a lot of Marvel dialogue.
Oh yeah, well, like, did you hear? That is one thing I saw. Kevin Smith said he's writing a Marvel-ish story. He said that in an interview. I saw that in an interview today because I was just like, okay, cool. Like, look at all there's inappropriate witticisms throughout.
It's I hate those jokes. They hurt me. It's the same kind of stuff it's not as bad as the bathos that we deal with, but it's got the low quality quips.
Yeah, but I quip for the sake of quips.
Yes.
But then like there's quips, and then they're like, would they actually say that? And I'm just like, don't draw attention to that.
Yeah, please don't say that. It makes it even worse. He's bringing that up.
Yeah, like, again, it's one of the things I kind of hate about that cringy stuff at the start. It's just like, don't draw attention to the fact you're emulating another show. Don't do that. Also, I think before I actually, because overall I'm actually fairly positive on the show. Like, I went in with very low expectations, and I came out like, I enjoyed this for what it was. I'll watch part 2. It's not meeting my bar of this is a must see, but we'll talk about that in a sec. But I also think like episode 1 especially really demonstrated some poor casting choices.
Oh, in terms of the voice cast, the voice cast is incredibly mishandled.
Yeah, mixed would be the best way I'd put it.
Kevin Conroy as Merman.
See, I think the thing is, like, you can tell it's Kevin Conroy because he does the very best at what he's given. It's just like Merman's a generic hammy villain.
Well, no, it's not just that. He doesn't do a voice. He does like his Bruce Wayne voice.
Well, yeah.
It's like everybody.
I would ask if Kevin Conroy's got a huge amount of range. To be honest, I've never heard him.
That's why I say it was a poor casting choice, because it's just getting there for some reason, rather than Merman's always had a silly voice, always, like from the original show to the 2000X. Why not keep him with the silly voice? Maybe just not Kevin Conroy doing Kevin Conroy. I think the issue is, again, we're just getting names rather than people to do voices, and unfortunately, that is a very Hollywood mentality rather
Very
than
much so.
let's
And
get people who can do voice acting. Unfortunately,
and it really shows when someone who's like I voice act for a living shows up, because Mark Hamill, like I think they gave him too much Joker-ish stuff to do.
I would agree. Yes.
But I think his performance is like, oh yeah, it's Mark Hamill. And Tony Todd is in it, and I think he's great. I love Tony Todd.
I mean, the problem with what we were just saying is Tony Todd is just Tony Todd, but Tony Todd's really good. He's still a good voice actor, which I guess kind of almost counters that. But he is Tony Todd. But he worked really well as the character he played. We'll try not to do spoilers as well, by the way. So
we're probably gonna have to spoil at least one thing just because of like the focus of the show. But
sure.
But Tony Todd is in it, and I like Tony Todd gets typecast because Tony Todd he doesn't have a huge range, but give him a role and he will eat the floor to get it right because the man's very good at what he does.
Let's just say Tony Todd's probably not a guy you're gonna get to voice a My Little Pony character.
Oh, but you
unless
should.
they're a bad guy.
But you should. There should be this tiny little baby pony that comes up and
Fluttershy.
Fluttershy, the buns are cooked.
You mean my rabbit friends? Yes. Your rabbit friends and seas.
I ate their fear. It tasted like applesauce.
Oh, that's really nice.
You mean the thing you made out of apples? No. I love Tony Todd in anything. He's in Dragon's Dogma, or not Dota. Dota, I think, as a dragon, and I'm honestly tempted to watch that simply to see Tony Todd hammered up as a dragon.
Oh.
Like, I'm very curious. Like, I just don't know how you pull that off because I don't know anything about that show.
Sean Connery was a dragon in Dragonheart.
Yeah, she was. Like, I think Man at Arms is very poorly cast. It's one of the guys from Game of Thrones who's from Northern Ireland, but because of the way he's doing his voice, it basically comes across like he's trying to impersonate Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Which is very strange and has no range.
I don't know, Mikey. Get Gary Chalk.
Yeah, well, they can't.
Gary Chalk's really good.
They can't because he is in a different union.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a problem. I think a lot of the Canadian people could have just redone their roles, to be honest.
Oh, well, like that would be great. Like 2000X, really good cast.
Yeah, very.
Ironically, let down by their He-Man is the weakest performance they have, and he's still all right.
Oh, you mean for okay, yeah, Cam Clark. Yeah, it's yeah.
It's one of those ones where you can really hear he's straining to keep it at that level, especially when he does Adam.
Oh my, yes, he talks very strangely the way he does his voice.
Battle Cat.
Yeah, it's
that kind of thing. And it's just like, oh no.
Everyone's talking normally, and then there's He-Man. You're like, oh, okay, He-Man.
Unfortunately, I don't like Adam in this either because
he's
also straining with his range, and he doesn't have a lot to do. Like, he doesn't have a lot to actually he doesn't have a lot of levels to go to. It's like I'm very aware of voice actors, like when you can actually hear their voice starting to strain.
Oh yeah, specifically you were talking about Beast Wars Megatron, the clip that we had earlier in the week, which we don't talk about because it wasn't worth it.
No, we'll talk about that next week, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, like you can hear the voice actor like dying, trying to hit what the director's telling him to do.
Oh, see, I could hear the voice director sleeping.
Yeah, that's fine. So there's a lot of weirdly enough, I think Sarah Michelle Gellar did a decent job.
Oh, I would disagree.
I think Lena Headey started bad and got better.
Which one's Lena Headey?
Lynn. She was Evil Lynn.
She's all right. Yeah.
I would say the two best ones were Cringer and Orko.
Yeah, from the very small amount that they're in.
Are two like voice actors. My big the one I really didn't like was Randor. He's barely in it, but what's his name? He's a guy. He was in a lot of Cartoon Network stuff where he taught. I think it's the Dexter's Laboratory one, where the guy's like weird cartoon Rambo. Do you remember that?
Okay. Oh no, he's got an eye patch and he's got long ginger hair or something. Yeah, isn't he like Future Dexter or something like that?
Something I don't remember the context of the story, but basically that's who's playing King Randor.
Oh, that's it. Really? Oh man. Okay.
Every time I heard him, all I could hear was, "Yes, we must go here now." Stuff like that, and he's trying to do like the horrified king and judging father because he's really judgy. And that, like, so yeah, the voice cast is not the best.
No.
I also had problems with some of the, not necessarily the animation, because I think the fight choreography was overall good.
Mhm.
But the designs on the actual animation I didn't like. Faces
What do you mean
especially.
what do you mean the designs of the animation? Do you just mean the designs?
Yeah,
Or
well, like the aesthetic of the company, because it's the same guys who did Castlevania, and like they make
yes.
the faces too long, and I didn't like their
Oh,
take
okay.
on He-Man. Like
Yeah.
they ballooned him up. And like
Mm.
it's one of those, it's a like one of those like the I think it's a Tom and Jerry one where he like takes something and he like becomes like super muscly and he's got a tiny head. I kept on thinking of that, like, okay, he's supposed to be like super muscly, but going back to 2000X, you can make it look more hulkish
Yeah.
than bad. Like, oh no, he did the every time I think about you, I do one push up thing.
You know what you do? You go and you get a picture of Terry Crews and you go, okay, there's our base model for He-Man. That's good enough.
Mm. So yeah, on the positive side, I thought the story. One thing I say, pacing needed an extra episode to get this new norm set up properly because they kind of jump into the mission too quickly.
How big of a time gap is there? Because it's not really stated,
Yeah,
as
that's
far
it.
as I
Like
could
I have
tell.
no idea how. Like we don't see things change. We
I guess
don't.
it's meant to be years, right?
Yeah, I got the impression it was like at least a few years.
There's no statement for it, which is bizarre.
Yeah, like it's
Absolutely
very quick. So
bizarre.
pacing is definitely an issue. But
Yeah.
so positively, I think the overall plot is fine. I thought it like once it got going at a decent cap, and I thought it was like an interesting idea. I won't say anything about it because like super spoilers. The big thing, the big controversy. This is Tila is the main character of this show.
Hmm.
I thought the angle they took with her, which is something I've always wondered, which was like why no one told Tila. I thought that was interesting, and I didn't mind her lines. They were very Marvel-y, but
Mm.
the intent for the character I'm fine with, and I would be interested to see her for the whole show as the protagonist.
Okay.
It doesn't blow my mind or anything.
Hmm.
Her friend Aranda or girlfriend, whatever, like that one throwaway line where like I'll never leave you, and then like Evelyn spends the entire time saying like you wanted to bang Adam, didn't you? Didn't you? Didn't you? Didn't you? Because I wanted to bang Skeletor, which is new. But I'll spoil that. Evil Lynn was after the skull.
I mean, that's kind of like in 2000X when he was Keldor. That's kind of
Yeah, but then he
true.
became a
A little
skull.
bit.
And she was like, no.
Yeah. Then she was just more like, well, I guess I was mainly after the power to begin with, so
Mm.
I'll stick with Skeletor. I was gonna have sex with that blue boy, but then his face was melted off.
Yeah. Evil Lynn I thought was good in this. Because they took the sympathetic villain angle, which I'm always more interested in. Two best scenes in the whole thing were Cringer and Orko. Their soliloquies. I really like those. Yeah, it was all right. Like better than I was expecting it to be. Like I said, I went in with very low expectations because that's just how I do things these days. But I came away like no, like I at the time I said it was an 8. Honestly, it's more like a 6 or 7 hit for me. I don't
Mm.
think it's like breaking any bank, but I don't think it like I think it's like comfortably put together. I also don't think Kevin Smith should ever be on your press department.
No, he's
Because
still going. He's still talking.
yeah, like Kevin, if you stop, it will help it die. That's all I'll say. Like
I don't think he
basically,
understands.
he. It's not just that he keeps on talking; he's really aggressive, and I like I.
No, passive aggressive. It's
Yeah,
passive
well,
aggressive.
like he also calls people shit, so not so passive. But like Kevin Smith is someone I don't like as a person.
He
Who
used to
kind of
be
like
kind of interesting, but now
for
he
me,
seems like he's
he
changed.
seems to someone who like rode the "I'm a nerd but I'm
Yes.
famous" thing,
Yeah.
but he also seemed to be like I'm also a bit of a prick and a nerd.
It
But
certainly seems like that more so now than it used to be.
yeah, I think more because he's involved in more now, to be honest.
Yeah, you might be
He's
right.
a
Yeah.
lot more public. Um, the thing, my gauge, like I was thinking about this today, 5 episodes. I will say, I think the last episode is actually has some interesting parts. But those last 5 minutes are just a bit mean and really feel like we needed a cliffhanger moment. And I was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, but you didn't need a cliffhanger. You could have just done all the episodes at once and not bothered with one. But no, it's Netflix.
And in
Uh,
retrospect, the optics of that decision are even worse.
Yeah,
would
especially
say.
since they've now come out and said like, oh no, 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 like Adam's going to be like really central to part 2.
And it's
And I'm
like,
just like,
I doubt it.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine if he's not. It's just like if he hadn't shown up in episode 5, I'd
Mhm.
have been fine.
I think
It's just
again would be what I mean. We can we can't really talk too much about it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But yeah,
but
that episode has some really unpleasant dialogue from Teela in it.
yeah, Tila's mean. Like
Teela's a terrible character in the show, Mikey.
I
She's
don't think she's
awful.
terrible. I
She's
think
an
she's
awful person.
damaged, and I think she's given opportunities to not be shit. But then, like, there's things like where she tries to kill Evelyn for no reason,
Mm.
which was stuff like that. Like, if you want to do a traumatized human being, that's fine. It's just like episode 5 is all about like, okay, now you spent the whole thing confronting that trauma, and now it's sort of like, how are you dealing with that? By being kind of mean, and
I
by
don't
kind of
thi-
mean like being very mean.
I don't
to-
think you can do an episode. You know, episode 1 specifically where she's very mean. I don't think you can be very mean and start blaming the parents and
No.
making it about yourself, which is what
Yeah.
she does.
I think that one of the problems I have with that scene is that everyone's horrible to Adam all the time,
Yeah, that doesn't help either.
which is carried over from the original show. But it's like Randor's this judgmental prick of a father, and I'm just like, don't make it seem like you cared.
That I think that's mainly the issue because yeah, I don't mind the whole like, oh, his dad doesn't know he's He-Man and he thinks his son's a failure. It's like, oh yeah, okay, but then the realization, I get why Randor acted the way he did, but I think Teela was completely out of character from any iteration of Teela we've ever seen. Granted, there are 2, as far as I know.
Yeah,
There
and
are
probably
2.
one of the comic ones where they Thundercatted her, but
Maybe, yeah, but yeah, she is a horrifically self-centered person. Horrifically self-centered in this show.
she's definitely
I found
like,
her I find her dreadfully unpleasant. She's like what's her name? Is it Amber from Invincible? They're a very similar styled
I don't
character.
think she's that bad. I don't think she's that
It's Mikey. She complains to the parents and makes the situation about her. Amber didn't do something that egregiously bad.
Yeah, but she can't be that bad because she has to be at least somewhat sympathetic because she's the main character of the show.
I don't think just her being a main character makes her sympathetic, though.
I think it means they have to try and make her sympathetic.
Yeah, they haven't done it so far in these 5 episodes. And by episode 5, they make her do an incredibly horrible thing again. End of episode 4, like you mentioned, with the evil Lynn thing. Again, she does an incredibly horrible thing.
Weird. That was one of those like, oh shit, we're on script moments. Like, very strange, especially given the context of what just happened.
Also, episode 4. This isn't a spoiler. What's Teela's fear? My fear is I'm super cool.
She has many fears. That was
her main fear, the fear that she her ultimate fear is that she's so cool.
It's a weird thing because obviously, if you know a bit about, even if you've just seen anything with He-Man in it, like Teela's got a background that you find out. But it's kind of weird how it's framed in this one. I don't know. Part of it I think is also like you had 5 episodes to do it, but I didn't mind her as much as you did.
I think she's an awful person.
I just think that the show's pacing really worked against a lot, and then like combine that with some Marvel lines and everything else. Like, oh, it's weird. Like overall, I like the idea and I like the overall execution. It's just for me, what I would say, like, it's not memorable. There's nothing memorable about this. Like, I was thinking, like, 5 episodes into Primal, I had to wait a year for the next part of it. Every single week, I was checking because that show left a fucking impression on me. When's the next episode out? When's the release date? Every week for a year, I checked that because that show left a very big impression on me. And when it comes to adult animation, it's not fair, but that's my bar.
Like, and I mean, this is what this is. This is not made for kids. Clearly, they tried to say.
It was weird. Apart from the blood and the stabbing.
Yeah. Oh, there was a swear too as well. There was bollocks, which again was really out of line.
That was weird.
No, sorry, it wasn't out of line. It was just it came out of nowhere and felt very out of place.
I feel like there should have been more Britishisms if you're going to have a character say bollocks.
But it doesn't, like, He-Man's not British property, so it's strange that was in there. Like, this is Eternia. It's an
but they hired
planet.
an actress who can't do a non-British accent.
I don't think it matters that she
No,
has a
but-
British
but-
accent or not, but
I say like that line's in there because Lena Headey is British and they wanted her to
Probably.
say, because Americans find people with British accents saying British things funny.
I guess, but it's really out of place. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it has a place in the show to do it, and just does it.
It's just gone cock. Cock.
That's what Orko says. He just
yeah,
goes cock.
It's a weird thing. It's something very easy to criticize. And it's something where Kevin Smith should not be allowed to talk to humans.
No.
But I will watch the next part, but I'm not eager for the next part, would be how I put it. Like,
Okay.
a lot of people are, like, as always, it's being hailed as, like, the oh my god, it's amazing, everything else. I also think, like, ultimately, I think it's a lot less controversial than a lot of the people are making it out. Like, oh my god, YouTube.
I
Stop.
suppose it depends who
Just
you're
stop.
going for. And this is like, I think I understand the reaction of some people because this is the first show in 20 years since 2000X that He-Man's had, and this could be a killer for He-Man for another. Well, it won't be a killer for 20 years, but it might impact the.
They've already got a new show that's out.
Well, I was going to say it might impact on that depending how
Well, that's
how
got
badly this
that's
does.
the kids one. That's like definitely like 8-year-old targeted one. So
And,
if we watch,
the difference is people will probably be more forgiving than that because it's not touted as a sequel to the original show, which this was. It shouldn't have been. It was
that
unwise
is
to
a
do that.
weird thing because I would also say like the 80s elements of this show are clashing with what what you want your show to be, because you want your show to be like a Netflix style modern animation done by a guy who's obsessed with Marvel movies and thinks they're good.
Mhm.
But you're also sticking in all these like retro, like the cringy line deliveries, some of the designs in here as well, like elements, like weird
Game
clashing
of
humor
Thrones
times.
influences, unfortunately.
Hmm?
Game of Thrones influences, unfortunately.
Yes, we can't get away, especially in this one, considering the cast. But it's weird. I'm actually feeling more critical of it as we're talking.
Yeah, it's
But
got a lot of issues. I think you've got a lighter thing to it because, like you said, you just don't like He-Man, which is understandable. So you're
don't
not
care.
nearly as invested. But like I say, for a lot of people, I can see why people are upset. Yeah, it would be like it's with. I'm going to give you a Teeler analogy with the episode 5. Imagine. Oh, hang on. I'm gonna make a note so I can cut this out so I can tell Mikey because I thought it was a decent analogy, but I'll take this out for you people.
Woohoo!
That is an awful self-centered person. It's terrible.
It was a very strange, that whole like, you want to show her being like, okay, I'm still not really over it. That's fine, but she's like uncomfortably mean to him. Like,
There's
so
a
you're
way
dead.
you can do it to
So you're
justify
dead,
all.
and you're
If he
selfish,
framed
and you
it,
kept your
that-
secrets. Just like, well, I am dead.
If she framed it, if they framed the show as she was actually in love with He-Man and like she had like tears in her eyes
Which
or
Lynn
something
won't
like that.
stop going on about as well, which is weird.
Yeah, I think I don't know if that's the idea that they're trying to push it with that, but she's only showing outward rage and nothing else to her character.
I think it's one of those things like where saying it's a sequel hurt it because like, okay, we don't
Yeah.
need to establish these relationships.
Yes, yeah.
So you could have had an episode which was, here's the relationship between Tila and Adam. Here's the relationship between her and her dad. Here's her relationship with all her friends, blah, blah, blah. And then you
Mhm,
undermine all those.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas what you did was you went into a show and said like, you remember all this? Cool.
Poor Duncan as well.
Yeah.
Man at Arms gets shit on quite heavily
Yeah, quite a lot.
for no reason.
Yeah, like quite a lot. Like, ugh. One thing like I'm really concerned about, like whether the show is good or bad, or you hate it, you love it, whatever.
Sure.
I'm really concerned they're going to do a season 2, which is mean like they're going to pull a Netflix ending, which is like there's your introduction, but here's the cliffhanger for season 2.
Yeah.
Honestly, if they said we wanted to do a series of interrelated miniseries about different Masters of the Universe characters, fine. But
That
if
could be
they
interesting.
Yeah, like give Cringer a series, give Ram Man, give some of the bad guys a series. I don't care. Give Orko one, but like,
I think like giving a focus on Stratos or like one where it's not got anything to do with He-Man, where Stratos and he's off in a part of Eternia that we haven't seen or it's only really been talked about. Kind of like again what the 2000X show did, and just focus on like
Less
some
Scottish
obscure
stuff.
characters. Yeah. That could be quite interesting because you could do world building. That'd be kind of fun.
And you could. There's loads of characters from the He-Man franchise they haven't touched on.
Loads.
And like I said, you could do a bad guy focus one, like plenty to do. But I don't want them to do what basically like. I don't want them to do what Voltron did, which was like, here's an ending, here's another ending, here's another ending, here's another ending, here's another ending. None of these lead anywhere. We're really stalling for time. Are we heading towards an ending? I don't know. We're basically Bleach.
We're twirling, Mikey, twirling towards the sun.
Freedom. That shonen thing of just like, we're at the end of a story, but are we? Yes. Just end it. Just end it. And then if you want to do more in this franchise, ride the fact that you made a show without He-Man as a primary character and make stuff about other people.
Yeah.
Make a hero story about, or make one about Grayskull.
Oh, you mean King Grayskull? Yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be cool.
Fine.
Because that was arguably the best episode of 2000X, which was fucking amazing. That was such a good episode.
That
it was such a
lion
dick
made no
tease.
sense. They never explained that lion. Where did it come
cool,
from?
Though.
Why
it looked amazing.
Why does he have a lion?
Because it's Ace.
Yeah, but like, how did that tie? Was Cringer like destined? Was this like, no, Cringer, you never had free will. You were always going to be Battle Cat.
Exactly.
You're like, but I don't want to be Battle Cat. Well, God said you would be because a lion.
Too bad, bitch. Sorceress made this happen.
And you'll wear his hat. I don't want to wear his hat. Wear his hat. It's too big for me.
It also spells of sadness.
That was a very big lion.
It's cool,
that's a great episode as well.
Oh yeah.
I'm very much middle ground of just like, I don't care as long as it's just like, fuck it, aesthetics, I don't care. But like, it's when stories stop and like make you sort of turn towards and go like, hey guys, hey, did you notice? I'm just like, well, I am now. But yeah, I don't like intrusive elements added into shows for no good damn reason.
Sure.
So yeah, I've nothing else really to say on He-Man. I think She-Ra is better. She-Ra is also not about She-Ra. It is about Catra. But I like that story better.
I didn't like either.
Yeah, like you have to get through the first 2.5 seasons of She-Ra really.
Real seasons or Netflix seasons? Do you mean
real seasons?
Okay, so that would be like season 4, 5 by their standards. Is that right?
Tail end of 3, start of 4. Because like, actually, She-Ra's weird because they tried. The first season is a season. The second season they divided up into 2 because they tried to Netflix it, and then everyone complained and said it was a terrible idea. And then the last 2 seasons or last 3 seasons, I don't remember which, are released as proper seasons because they had a lot of complaints.
Wow.
So they only got to Netflix 1 season of it.
Okay.
But like basically midway through season 3, everyone just admits it's the Catra show and we're all happier. Because it's more interesting anyway. But yeah, like someone said online, Mikey likes it, and like that says something because he hates all Western animation. I don't hate all Western animation. I just reached an age where I will be quite happy to be picky.
That's fair.
Yeah, this will just, like I said, like this just won't stick with me in any real way. But I don't think it's bad.
I think it's bad.
But will it stick with you?
Oh, no. Here's the sad thing: the controversy will stick with me.
Listen. That's Jesus. Like, we'll remember more about controversies about TV shows long after we forgot what they're actually about. Jesus,
it's true.
I just drank 2-hour-old coffee. I didn't realize was in a cup.
Ew.
I meant to go for my water bottle. Yeah. So He-Man, I'd say watch it.
I'd say if you're not a fan of He-Man, you'll probably enjoy it more so than if you have a connection with He-Man.
I am a minority in this. I find that interesting. Or at least I'm in the position of the normal, which for me is a minority position.
Yeah. Though it's strange. Also, I've managed to talk you down a little bit from your slightly higher position.
Yeah,
to be fair.
Like I'm usually a bit more adamant, but I don't care enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. I'm not invested. And please stop Kevin Smith speaking to the public. He's not.
I definitely think that was like the reaction wouldn't be as fiery if he hadn't stoked the flames for the past 6 months or so.
It's just like, what gets me is like listening to him at the moment, and it's just like some guy in the internet calls him a shit. And his response is not to do what most people do, which is to ignore it and just say the generic, like, we were trying to do this thing and we're really happy with our product. His thing
Yeah.
is to call them a shit and then insult them on live television.
It's not what you
Which
call
then-
good optics. It's
Which
really
then
not.
they then respond and call him a shit again, and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I'm just like, why are you? How did you get the job when you're talking like this?
That's the thing. Like at some point, the person who's calling you shit online is doing it, potentially for attention from a star. Potentially, not guaranteed, but I think there's a potential there.
Oh, yeah.
It's your obligation as the person that made the show, that's meant to be promoting the show, that's meant to be he's definitely the face of the show.
Oh yeah.
To not stoke fires. Do not set fires to things that are already burning. Don't throw gasoline on things. It's a bad call.
Just walk away.
Yeah, just walk away. It's not hard. Just turn off Twitter.
Yeah. Listen, you got all the critical reviews you wanted. You know, like take what you got and leave.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. It's not the Hollywood way at the moment to do that, though. It seems.
Like
which is
I
kind
said,
of
like
sad.
they make as much money off controversy because controversy draws the ordinary audience.
Yeah, it almost
Um,
feels like they're almost doing it on. I don't know whether they are doing it deliberately, but sometimes it feels like they might be.
The only one I can say like controversy didn't draw the audience. They just seemed to watch it anyway. Was weirdly enough the War for Cybertron stuff because that had no controversy about it. No one, just a lot of us didn't like it. Or
Yeah, I
didn't care.
don't think anyone's really watching it outside of Transformers. To be fair.
Oh no, huge.
Really?
Huge. Oh,
Really?
huge. Hugely popular. Like
I'm horrified.
The weeks it comes out, it's the top viewed thing on Netflix.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Yeah, really good reception.
Oh no.
And like,
oh god.
that's why those reviews fucking piss me off because they're all talking about like, hey, those things you remember from G1 and all the Easter eggs and stuff. You, the person who doesn't know anything about Transformers, will love this. And I'm just like, oh god.
I really want good
I
writing.
don't need him to say, one shall stand. I just don't.
No.
Because you know what follows?
A fall.
Oh my god.
Yeah. A
Stop
fall in more ways than one.
Stop it! Andy,
Mikey.
what did you do today?
I did He-Man, clearly, as we were talking about it.
Mm.
I saw a lot of the reactions and tried to understand both sides of the argument. And I
will say, like, I don't care if you disagree or agree, or you're offended, or you're in love with it, or you think people are progressive or aggressive with anything. Listen to people over listening to your own ideas first, because you need to interact with people, and you will not grow unless you are talking to people.
I would say that's fair. I don't think that's how the internet works, unfortunately.
Oh god, no. Certainly, it's not even how real conversations work. But I live an idealized way where we can have differing opinions and we don't like invade Poland.
Yeah, that's why Mikey has to accept that Independence Day is a good film.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
there are exceptions for every rule.
Shit. You all need to accept it.
There are exceptions to every rule, even in Mikey's world.
I'm just saying, world's not flat. You can't
that
breathe
you
in
know
space.
of.
And those are shit films.
Oh, amazing. So what else have I been up to? So I did Gimmen. Haven't really done anything else of real sexual note. I built some Gundam kits. That's really been the push of the week. So I built the Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise Anima's Rise, I think it's called, which is based off a manga, a light novel or something based on the anime.
It's in one scene in the anime. I remember that.
Is it? Oh, okay. Apparently, it takes place like while everybody's off saving the galaxy. This is what's happening in the internet. It's like this is the new champion.
If I remember, the whole thing about the anime Core Gundam is like they see Hiroto's Core Gundam,
and they copy it.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's so fucking cool."
It's a little lame that's the reason, because it's just like, oh, I'm going to copy that guy's idea, and it's
you see, Andy, they needed to sell a new toy.
Oh, 100%. The thing is, the Animas is the best version of the Core Gundam. I really like it a lot. It has an amazing color scheme. It leans more into the Power Rangers or Super Robot aesthetic idea than the Core Gundam does, which is just armor bits kind of attached, where these ones look more like individual vehicles in a sense. And I think it gives a really nice overall look. It's really solid. Its beam saber turns into a beam whip, which is kind of fancy as well. Its guns, I don't really like the gun, personally. It has an interesting way of kind of hooking onto the back, but it does just stick out the back of the figure, which is a little bit awkward. But overall, if you haven't tried a core Gundam figure, any of them, I would suggest at the very least try one of them, whatever flavor might tickle your pickle. Either the Rise, which I think is the best one for the normal hero styled one, or the Alice. Alice.
No, the
The Alice Gundam.
no, what's it called? Eldora Car. No, it's not Eldora. Alice.
That's
yeah,
what
Alice,
I said.
right. Yeah, I thought you said Alice.
No, I said the first one I said was Alan, then I said Alice, not Alice. Easy mistake. Alan. That's what I needed to say. So I did that. He's very cool. I built the Gundam Unit 4 that we talked about. That's a good solid Gundam. Got a lot of stickers for the shield. A lot of stickers for the shield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 for the shield. But otherwise, not too many stickers. I really like the gun. It's got a cable to connect it. It's got a fun little mode switch where you take off the shoulder armor and you change the backpack around to have it in a lesser form, which is quite nice. Changes the overall aesthetic of the Gundam. Very poseable and way more interesting than, again, as me and Mikey said, a standard Gundam RX-78. I got a Mackinac. I got the Mackinac from one of the P Bandai ones, so it's got a fancy arm. It looks like it might give you 2 in those boxes. It doesn't. You can only build 1, and then you have spare parts for the other ones, which is a bit of a shame. But that's how it goes. I built the 1.5 Gundam from Gundam Deblow, which is basically the prototype Gundam Reborns. It's old. It's got old hips. It's got an old waist, but it's got a really nice overall look. And that's why I got it, because I really like the Gundam Reborns. At the time, the Gundam Reborns wasn't available, so I was like, oh, well, I'll sell for this. It's got a nice color scheme. It's kind of a lilac-y blue and white. I might want to change the color scheme at some point, because I think it could look a bit fancier. I think that's all the Gundams I did this week, because I got the box and built them up, and that was fun. And then it's just been work, good old work throughout the week, which is always a thing. Is the best way I could describe it. And I've been doing more on The Witcher 3 and played with Jason on Twitch as we played Streets of Rage 4 together. He said he wasn't going to beat me up. He did. I then had to teach him a lesson.
Fucking lie.
Yeah. He started hitting me with pipes and going, "Oh, it's an accident. It's an accident." Then I killed him.
God.
I did a combo. I lifted him up in the air and did an air combo and went done.
Oh God.
It's like, you killed me. I was like, you started it. That's how it was. Streets of Rage. That's how it happens sometimes. That was a lot of fun. And that's it. That's all I did this week. Apart from got the comic show up, did the editing for the Fate show, but I haven't put it up on Patreon yet. Hopefully that'll go up on like Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe. We've got a comic show to do at some point soon. I guess next week, right?
Yes, it has to be next week.
Yeah, we'll sort that stuff out later. I guess that's where we can end the show, Mr. Mikey. I'm running out of time because I've got to go and stream in 2 minutes. So
yes, I
Mikey,
figured you'd be a bit late.
Yeah, Mikey, where can people find you on the internet if you want them to?
You can find me on Twitter, Larry Palo. You can find me on YouTube. No, you can't actually. I don't do YouTube anymore.
My God.
You can send me a message over on the moonbase2@gmail.com. We still have some questions from last week, but we will get to them. Don't kill me. And you can send the messages on Facebook, Libsyn, Patreon, and everywhere else. And yeah, Andy, what about you?
Find me on Twitter and Tumblr, CCTFW, not on Tumblr, because that's stupid. That doesn't exist anymore. But you can find me on Twitch as CCTFW.
Tumblr's still real.
That's
just no one's there.
You can find me on YouTube as Cobra Commander. You can find this podcast on Moonbase 2 forums on Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. You can also find us at ccbunker.weebly.com, and we're on patreon.com/moonbase2. And if you do $2 each month, you get the extended version of From the Files of Tigertron 2. You get it a week early, and you get the Moonbase where we talk about non-transforming things in more detail. So, Mr. Mikey, thank you very much for joining me on this longer show than usual. And until next week, everybody, we'll catch you suckers next time.
You are now leaving